He used what's called the mini moog. Or Moog,
Okay.
I guess it's pronounced.
Moog?
I don't know if it's Moog or Moog. Go back and listen to that song.
No.
I bet you'll like it more. No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Evening, Brent and boots and cats 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 and boots. What do you think of that?
Wow. So, are you saying something there, or is that like clearly? It sounds like that's.
Boots and cat. Yeah, I'm saying boots and cats. It's beatboxing. It's the best way, the easiest way to beatbox. You just say boots and cats. You know what? Actually, watch this. Watch this. Hey Siri, beatbox for me.
Here's what I've been practicing. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots.
Come on.
And cats and boots and cats and boots.
Are you
I could
kidding
do this
me?
all day. Cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
Thank you, Siri.
She's still going.
That's where I took
Perpetually.
it from.
So hang on a second. Like, how did you learn about this?
Little tricks, little tricks. That's what millennials are into, Brent. Getting their phones to beatbox for them.
Good Lord.
That's what we've been doing. That's what we've been figuring out. That's what we've been solving the world's problems.
How old are you? 31, 32 now?
Going on 17.
I was just
31.
thinking, like, when I was younger, if somebody would have come to me and said, I'm coming from the future, and there's this thing that you can talk into and say boots and cats, and it's like, I would have been like, hey, hang on, slow down. What? Boots and cats? Beatboxing? Siri? A phone?
Get out.
Without a cord on it?
Yeah.
What?
Are you kidding me? That's not the size of my own head?
Remember that. Hello.
I don't remember that, no, but thanks.
Of course you don't.
Of course I don't. Oh, man, what a kickoff to Thursday night. I got one more thing for you. I got to tell you this. I thought this was hilarious, okay? So went to a concert on the weekend.
Yeah.
And it was a country concert. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. And, they had the opener. They had the opening band, really good opening band. Jade Eagleson, Canadian country artist. I don't know if you heard of him. Anybody else? But he had his band with him, and he introduced his band members. And as he introduced his band members, each member kind of played a song to kind of like be like, he's like, and here's this person from this place. And then the guy on the guitar played Miserlou by Dick Dale. And everybody went crazy. Okay. And I was like, oh, like Wicked, like people know Miserlou by Dick Dale. And then I realized they probably thought it was Black Eyed Peas because they also sample, right? Because the next one they went, right? So they went to the next guy, which was the slide guitar player. Okay. And he played it's the Rod Stewart song, If You Want My Body and You Think I'm Sexy. So he kind of played that on slide guitar.
Oh, nice.
Played that on slide guitar. So that was pretty cool. And then he introduced the drummer. Okay. And the drummer was from Colorado.
Okay.
And I remember he was from Colorado because, well, we were in Toronto. And so this is an American in Canada.
Right.
So when Jade Eagleson introduced him, he was like, here's the drummer from Colorado. Okay. He bust in to Tom Sawyer by Rush.
No, he did not.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Played it. I went crazy. Okay.
That's really
Did
cool.
anybody else around me know what the guy was playing?
Oh, no.
Not a chance. I was literally the only person within like 200 feet going, yeah, Rush. And everybody else was quiet. There was more screaming for Dick Dale's Miserlou than there was for Tom Sawyer by Rush. And the only thing I could think of was like, they thought that was Black Eyed Peas and they had no idea that this was Rush.
That is truly evidence of the decline of Western civilization.
That's the evidence right there. Absolutely.
That's awful.
my God.
So now, did they look at you when you it sounded like you were pretty, like, you cheered. That guy gets it.
No, it was the Budweiser stage. So I wasn't like right there. We had great seats. We were center because we had a box because my wife's work. Great. But I was too far back. But I was cheering, and there was like zero, like you could hear the cheers for Miserlou, Black Eyed Peas, but you couldn't hear, like, it was just like ba-bum, ba-bum, like nothing.
Down the toilet.
I was like, that's
we're circling the drain as a civilization.
So I thought that happened, and I was like, I gotta tell Brent about this. This is a TNRC story.
God damn it.
At its finest. Yeah.
I almost wish that you hadn't told me that.
No way, man. I had to bring you the decline of Western civilization.
Downer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about Foreigner 4. How about that?
Sure.
That'll raise our spirits a little bit.
That will. You know what? I lied. Last thing. Pink Floyd was tonight. We just watched it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Look at that. I happened to come across this Rolling Stones magazine.
Put that up a little bit. So, there's Waters on the side. Gilmore looks cool, eh? Like, he looks like a cool guy.
He looks like a cool guy. Even some pictures in here, and I was like, man, like, how, like, Gilmore, like, that's him.
Yeah.
You know, all I can really think of him as being old. I mean, like, here he doesn't look really cool, but
no, he doesn't. Older.
But anyways,
back when he was young,
that cover,
he was a cool looking guy, man. Look at that. Awesome hair.
Yeah.
Love it.
Totally. So anyways, good read. Wow. Mm-hmm. Pink Floyd. We got to do, so I think we might have to do more. I'll leave it to you, Brent, as the album picker, but. So
a lot of listeners are saying more Floyd. So we heard you, and we're going to do more. I got to think about what the next record is. It's either Wish You Were Here, Animals. I'll make the call.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
But we'll do it.
Sorry, now we can get into Foreigner 4. My apologies. I just had a couple things that I wanted to talk about to get off my chest.
You had some,
bring forward.
What did they call those? Housekeeping items back in corporate. Remember those? Just first a couple of housekeeping items before we get started here.
I still work in corporate. I still hear it.
Oh, dude.
Still hear housekeeping items.
Don't even get me started with all the lingo. Deep dive.
Oh, yeah. Synergy.
You know?
In our wheelhouse.
Synthesize
don't even have a house.
Data.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
You know.
Stay in your swim lane. So many. It's ridiculous.
Just the jargon is through the roof. Roof.
They're there, and we're here. So
that's it. Look at us. Look at us go. Foreigner 4.
What did you think of Foreigner 4, Alex Huard?
Odd name for a title. I mean, what was it? Was this their 4th album?
Yeah, it was supposed to be called Silent Partners, but they called it 4 for 2 reasons. So it was their 4th record, but they dropped 2 band members. They used to have 6 people in the band, and then they went down to 4. So that's why they're so compelled to call it 4. There's a lot of funny stuff going on around the conception of this record, because it was supposed to be called Silent Partners. They had 6 dudes. They dropped 2 of them. And then they had this album cover that was, what's that guy's name? Hypnosis, is that it?
Oh, Storm Torgerson?
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
So he designed the first concept for the cover. And apparently it was like this young man who's laying in bed, looking up, and there were binoculars over his face or something like that. And so it was presented to the band. And the band said, "It's too homosexual for us." I've not seen a picture of this. I don't know. I've heard the description, but I don't know why they would have thought it was homosexual in any way. So they said, "We don't like that." And some other dude came in, and they used the film leader. You know, when you watched old movies, it was like 4, 3, 2, 1. So they used 4, which I thought was cool. It's a great cover. And they went with that. But Hypnosis, or whatever his name is, still got credit for the design of the cover, if you look at the album.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is an interesting tidbit.
Well, there you have it, sir.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's cool.
It's kind of confusing to me. I don't know why confusing. They would derive that as like some form of homosexuality. It's a guy laying in bed with binoculars. It's like, you don't know what he's looking at. You don't know. I don't know. I just think it's funny. I always thought that was really funny when I thought about this record.
I mean, there's no shortage of weird and odd ideas. I mean, Torgerson did actually Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon as well.
That's correct.
They did. And obviously they did. Well, and then they did Scorpions. Mm-hmm. They did Love Drive as well. Like they were just all over. They'd obviously did Zeppelin stuff. They were all over
Metallica, the
album covers. Yep. And man, crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, yeah.
Well, this I mean, the album cover, it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really say much to what was to come from the album, but I guess at the time you kind of just knew Foreigner for what they were, but this was still, I guess, a bit of a deviation from what you would usually expect from a Foreigner album.
This was Foreigner going into the 80s, and we've talked about this before, about 70s bands, looking, almost like literally like a Christopher Columbus or a Neil Armstrong, looking across the landscape to the 80s from the 70s going, right. What are we going to do? Right? Like literally, think about all those bands we talked about, like Alice Cooper, Cheap Trick, Foreigner, Fleetwood Mac, Heart, all those bands, Black Sabbath, like there's a million of them, right? Looking and going, oh my God, like the landscape is literally changing under our feet. What are we going to do? And Foreigner brought in Mutt Lange and produced an epic record.
So you liked this album, Brent? Was this a Foreigner album that you were into?
Yeah. I'm going to be really, I like this record a lot. Quite a lot.
Go on.
Yeah. I heard this when I was a kid too. I heard this one when it came out. It came out in 81. And I was 12. But, Jukebox Hero, Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You, all on the radio. But I like the record. I mean, here's the thing, okay? It's not a Dark Side of the Moon. It's not a Moving Pictures. It's not a Led Zeppelin 4. There's some schlock on here. Okay, there is. We'll be honest. There's some schlock.
Yeah,
but it's in terms of hooks, it's irresistible. Like it
there
truly is.
Hooks.
There are some great hooks, and we'll go through the songs. And every one of these songs, there's a hook in it that makes you go, I like that.
Yeah. I couldn't help but think every time I heard a song, like the thing that came to my mind was some teenage boy in his room just with like interpretive dancing. Yeah, no, just interpretive dancing like Kevin Bacon in Footloose to like every single song that came on here. Like he's on here. He's just, he's doing all this stuff, right? Yeah. It just as every single song played, that's what I pictured.
I can totally see that, especially the last song, right? Don't Let Go. It's just like, that's the song that plays at the kind of crescendo of like Footloose or one of those movies like that, where the guy's like fist pumping and he's like, so he gets the girl and the confetti's flying around and he's like, yes.
Yeah. Or like Break It Up. Like Break It Up is entirely that. It's just, I don't want to break it up. Oh yeah. It's just, so this is,
but it's fun, man. It's a fun record. It's not a Moving Pictures. It's not.
I'm not no, and that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But you remember when I said about Def Leppard, it's really 80s. Mm-hmm. This just sounds really 80s.
Oh,
and
dude, listen to like I'm Gonna Win. The breakdown of I'm Gonna Win is Pyromania basically, and that's all Mutt Lange. Mutt Lange produced this record.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
And this is 81, and Pyromania came out a couple of years later. So
I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag here, but I'm never gonna listen to "I'm Gonna Win" ever again. But let's start. Let's go through the songs.
All right. We'll skip that
yes,
one
to
as
your
we go
point,
through.
it is fun, and I started to have more fun again. This was one of those albums like Kiss, where the more you kind of put it on, you were kind of like, oh, okay, all right, you know, a bit boppity, you know, it's cool.
Yes.
But couldn't help but feel like I should have been wearing a leather jacket, or, you know, driving like a Firebird, you know, down the street every time.
The Trans Am.
So that's it, the Trans Am.
It's not that bad. Come on. Maybe it is. Maybe it is for you. I do have the nostalgic kind of connection to it because it, as I said, it did come out when I was a kid, and you know, I'll hear a lot of these songs and think back to, you know, I used to like jump off my bed when that like urgent sax solo and the Jukebox Hero, like, you know,
I feel it.
Oh man, I was like,
I feel it.
Super excited, but you don't have that. So it's very easy for you to be a lot more objective and hear the record and go, this is just like schlockorama. I totally get that. Totally.
You know, I actually almost feel a little offended that you think I wouldn't be listening to this in my room and jumping off my bed.
Did you jump off
playing
your bed
air guitar?
just like air guitar?
But you're right, I wasn't. But I'm a little offended. You thought you thought that I didn't do that while listening to Foreigners 4.
Oh,
so
that was very short-sighted of me. I apologize.
very, very short-sighted. Yeah, pretty cool story leading into this. Like you mentioned, they canned 2 of their guys and brought in, you know, just left it to the 4 of them, so that
one of those dudes who was a keyboard player and who was the other guy?
Wills.
No,
and,
he stayed.
no?
He was the bass player.
kicked.
Rick Wills was the bass player. Dennis Elliott was the drummer, and the guys they sacked were Al Greenwood,
Right.
who I think played keyboard,
Keyboard.
and a guy named Ian McDonald, who played guitar. Maybe I don't know.
Right. And Al Greenwood was formerly the keyboardist of King Crimson as well.
Before Foreigner, yeah.
Before Foreigner, yeah.
The reason why they got kind of the Spanish Archer, remember that elbow? Oops, sorry about that. They got pushed out of the band because Lou Gramm, the singer, and Mick Jones, the guitar player, wanted to write all the songs. And there was some tension, and the guy said, well, we're songwriters too. And he said, not as good as us. And off they went. Yeah.
You think they could? You think they would have made a different album if those guys stayed in the band? You think they wouldn't have made this album?
No, I don't think so. I think that the reason why this record sounds... keep in mind, too, this is not a hard rock record anymore. It is
right,
maybe underneath, but Mutt Lange came in and made this, you know, kind of more of a mainstream rock record, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of keyboards. And that is a very interesting story, too, because the player of those keyboards is a young man, unknown at the time, named Thomas Dolby. I think it was all Mutt Lange, and I think, again, you know, looking into the 80s, 81, they're like, okay, you know, we got to do something here. And they kind of let go of, you know, their harder rock roots and, you know, dip their toe in the mainstream pool.
Well, Nightlife kicks it off.
Mm-hmm. That's this was recorded at Electric Lady Studios in New York, and you can imagine what that was like. Manhattan in, you know, 1980, 81, like just the characters that were in New York City, right? It was the center of music, really. And so I guess they would come in at noon and finish about midnight, and these characters would just show up in the studio, which I don't really get because it sounds like there wasn't security. People could just wander in and hang out, you know. And
seems like that was just the studios back in those days, eh?
People just... So Mick Jones said the reason why we wrote Nightlife was because all these people would show up, like the later the hour, the 10 o'clock, there'd be like hookers in the control room and drug dealers and just people we didn't know who they were. And Nightlife was inspired by that.
It's a pretty good little like rock tune to kick it off. Like you said, hooky, you know. I
love that song.
Love it.
You know, instead of playing a Jukebox Hero on the radio, play Nightlife. You know?
Right.
I just, instead of playing Black Dog or Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, play Black Country Woman. I just, there's so many, don't get me started with the deep cuts. We've talked about that a million times, but like, don't overplay these bloody songs.
Yeah.
There's so many other good ones.
Considered a deep cut?
I would say so. It was never a single, I don't think. There's 5 singles from this record. I don't think that was one of them.
Wow.
I think Luann. And what was the other one? So Jukebox
Had to be
Hero,
Waiting for a Girl Like You.
That was, I think, the second one. Could be wrong with that.
Yeah.
There were 5. I don't know what the order where it was, but it was Jukebox Hero, Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You, Luann, and maybe Girl on the Moon. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't remember. But there was 5 though.
Yeah. Wow. This is a cool kickoff track, but this is when I was like, oh, this is what I'm getting into. Okay. I knew Foreigner from a couple, Hot Blooded. There's a couple other Foreigner tunes that, you definitely know.
Cool. Nice.
So I was kind of going into this, like thinking like, oh, like maybe I'm gonna be pleasantly surprised by some tunes. I knew Jukebox Hero. Right. And so I was pleasantly surprised by Nightlife. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is interesting. I wasn't like a huge fan of the keys, but I think that the just the guitar on its own was really cool. But then they come in with like these like pad hits or whatever that are just kind of like, ugh.
I know. Yeah.
Little much, but otherwise, yeah, cool. Like good. And like, I still think that rock really still translates into Mick Jones's guitar. Like he still really makes the guitar sound really good on this.
In Jukebox Hero, there are 2, I can't remember which ones they are, but when he comes into the chorus and it says one guitar and then you can hear the guitar literally roar the way that's produced. For decades I've thought this when I hear this particular song. And I don't remember which ones they are again. It happens 3 times, but there are 2 of them where you go, it almost makes you squint because you can imagine how loud that the Marshall rig is, right? Like this, and it's just like, you can hear it go. It's so cool that like the production of that, it's a big E chord that comes in. And literally it's like that old MacLeod commercial, your hair's blowing back.
Just blown back.
Sitting in front of the speaker.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Jukebox Hero is a great tune. These were a great 1-2 kickoff. And Jukebox Hero, like I said, it's one I had heard before. So really excited when I heard that song for the first time. Just everything about this tune is money. It doesn't seem too 80s. It's 80s, but it's not like drenched like some of these other songs end up being. So this is like really nice tune and yeah, really great 1-2 punch for the beginning of this album.
Oh yeah, love it. Great song.
Yeah.
Break It Up, I think, is next.
80s, just drenched in 80s.
So funny, eh? It is such an 80s song.
I also don't really like the piano at the beginning. Like I don't really know what they were thinking thematically for the record either, and maybe nothing, but it's just like, can this guy just find a woman, please? Can this guy just stop singing about friggin' heartbreak? Who else was singing about heartbreak all the time? Was that on Love Drive? Was that the person that
yeah, actually.
Was he always sad?
Yeah, I
can't remember. There was an album we talked about. It was like, this guy's sad. Somebody.
Well, David Coverdale and Whitesnake did that all the time. Oh, right? It was always like, I'm on the outside looking in kind of thing, right?
Loved it. Like, girls loved it. It's like album after album, same, Yeah. Anyways, it's but again, catchy,
super catchy, super catchy chorus. Really,
yes.
Right? Like again, so you hear that, and I totally see where you're going with this because you hear that the intro, and it's like this piano, like electric keyboard kind of thing, and it's like, oh, it's so saccharine. But then you hear that hook of the chorus, and it's like, you got me again. I'm
got
in.
Me. Yeah,
you got me.
I'm in.
I love it. You got me.
Yeah.
And that's like it or not, that's good songwriting. That's what songwriting is for. That's what songwriting is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Melodies, man. Melodies. These guys got melodies for days. Really.
Oh God. And it was again, that's Mutt, right? But Mutt was such a perfectionist. There's a story about this song. I think it was this one where Mutt wanted to use, he was very controlling in the studio, and he would make people play things over and over and over again until they got it right. And he didn't like the way the drums sounded. And he said to Elliot, the drummer, I want you to play to a click track, a metronome. And he said, no, I'm not doing that. And they kept playing. And Mutt said, you're not playing in time. And so they kind of took a break, and Elliot went off with Mick Jones and recorded the song on their own with drums without a click track. And they brought it back to him and said, see, I can do it. And he was like, okay. And that's the version that you hear.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Good on. I think he also wanted to make them electric drums too. I think there was also part of this too. That he wanted to either, whether it was this track or part of the album, he wanted to bring electric drums in on.
I would not doubt it.
They weren't fans of that idea.
Someone has said about this before. There are electric drums somewhere in this record. I personally don't hear them, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
You didn't listen. You didn't listen closely enough for
I guess not.
Drums, Brent. Wow. All right. Nobody drink. We did not listen closely.
I'll have a drink to that.
You better think about it.
There again, the schlock, right? There's like some of these lyrics are like, oh God. Some of them make you want to barf. Like it's so bad.
Yeah. Basically every song on here. So "Waiting for a Girl Like You" is also a nice little. This is sort of their ballad. This is where they turn into a ballad band or something like that. Or what is it with the deal with this song?
This is I love this song, but again, you put this on at a party and see what happens. People feel like, why? What?
Well, everybody grab your partner. Lock in at the hips.
What's interesting about this too is that this, I guess it's Thomas Dolby, right? But when I hear this, I think about Whitesnake. So if you remember Slide It In. So there's a couple of good songs on Slide It In that start with like Slide It In and Slide It In is one of them. Gambler is another one where it's just John Lord, the keyboard player, playing keys. Right. And it builds from like nothing to this thing. And then the other instruments come in. And this is similar. But what Dolby did apparently was he stayed after hours and Mutt just kind of, let him be. And he fooled around and played all these different notes that were in the same scale, but he recorded them on different tracks. And then he bounced them all down to the one track. So they're all on top of each other. And it sounds very eerie. And that's the beginning of Waiting for a Girl Like You. He played it for the band, and he wasn't in the band, Thomas Dolby. He was just trying to make an impression on everybody, right? And it worked because he became Thomas Dolby, but he played it for the band, and Elliot, the drummer, was like, no, man, this is like, I feel like I'm getting a massage or something. He's like, this is like spa music.
It totally is spa music.
But Lang overrode him and said, I like it. We're using it.
Wow.
And it got used.
It's a huge song for them, this one. And I think, so lyrically, was it Mick Jones that wrote this song? Mm-hmm. He had said that it was like emotional for him to write this song. He never felt so emotional writing something or a piece of music, lyrically anyways.
Hey, what did he say about this? It reminded me of Keith Richards, because Keith Richards said, at one point, they said, how do you write songs? And he said, songs are in the air, mate. You just pull them out of the air, right? Yeah. And I think that Mick Jones said something in the same vein. He said, songs are just floating around you in the air, but if you open yourself up to them, they'll flow through you. And they come out your hands onto the page or something like that. Right? Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, him and Graham both said that with this song. It was just a song that basically flowed from the pen to the paper. It wasn't anything they really thought about. Yeah. Just like, you're right. That is something that Richard said. And good point.
Yeah, songs are just in the air.
Again, super 80s, but I do love this song. Like there is just something about it that is like, it reminded me when I dated Cindy Ferguson in 1983. and we had just gone out, and we had shared a it was a root beer float, and and then no, I'm just kidding, but that's really where it put me into it put me into a moment, man. It put me back into like the 80s as if I had like lived there, just like that's what the song was able to do to me mentally.
Which is great.
It's really well done.
Yeah. Awesome. No, I'm glad you like it. I love the song.
Yeah. No, Karina, I never dated a Cindy Ferguson, and no, I don't still think about her.
And I've never had a root beer float.
Never had a root. No, I did, but my mother made it for me. Luann, this is hilarious. Okay, Luann. First of all, great tune.
Yeah.
Fun, super fun.
50s song.
Top
kind
3 favorite song on the album. One of the top 3.
Oh, good for sure. You. Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. There's just something like, man, love it. I love it.
It's just like a feel good song, right?
It is a feel good song. I love the guitar riff, just the continuing guitar riff through that chorus. It feels a little Rick Springfield-y, like a little like Jesse's Girl,
I like that. Yeah, you're right. To me, it always sounded like verse. A 50s song. It's kind of like a Buddy Holly, like...
Yes, exactly.
Cross between like a Buddy Holly and I can even see like a CCR, kind of like John Fogerty.
Yeah.
In the verses almost, it's not, it's
agreed.
Weird. It's not, for me, it's not a foreigner song. I don't know where the song came from. I don't know a lot about it, but it stands out.
A little confusing with this album. I'm a little confused still, like sonically, like, and lyrically. Well, I don't know what was going on here. But it is a little confusing. Funny story. Okay. So I was listening to this in the car, this time with the family.
Were you listening closely?
We're listening very closely. Okay. Hendrix in the back seat hears them singing this song, Luann, Luann. All right. He goes, why are they saying Luann? Luann is his brother, our other son.
Funny.
So now every time I hear this song, I'm like, Luann. So every time, like, Luann's running around, I'm like, Luann, Luann, why do you run and hide?
That is so great.
Yeah. So every time I play it, like, Hendrix is like, are they saying Luann? I'm like, yes, they're saying Luann.
Isn't that great? Kids are like,
it's hilarious.
Wow. Yeah. That is so funny.
Perspective, man.
I love it. He thinks the song's about him.
Well, his brother.
Well, no. Well, Hendrix has like a host of songs to choose from.
Oh, he's got a lot to live up to. Yeah, I don't envy his life at all going forward. Yeah. You know what? We've been listening to a heavy metal band called In Flames. Have you heard of them? Oh, man, from Europe. Mm-hmm. He loves them.
Oh, really?
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
I put on an album. It was kind of like a beats album. I'm not going to call it techno. It's not techno. It's like good beats. Okay. And he's like, Dad, I need something heavy. I'm like, yes, son. So I put on In Flames and just cranked it. And it's just like double bass, double bass, double bass, double bass.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, and then like obviously vocal? Really good singing. Yeah.
And did he like that?
Loves it.
How old is he?
Loves it. He'll be 5 in December.
Oh my. That's
man.
incredible.
So now that's all we listen to. I'm just like going through like 3 In Flames albums, getting them to all that remains. So I'm going to keep them on it.
You're going to get Children's Aid is what you're going to get. They're going to come knocking at your door.
Is that not a good thing, listening to that music? I don't know.
What does Karina think of that?
Well, she doesn't really know how much he's listening to, but it's not bad. He's just...
She doesn't really know.
He feels the music. He feels the music. That's what I'm getting from it, because it's music you feel, man. Like the bass, the guitars, like he's like, you're feeling it. That's my takeaway. I don't think he's focused on like the screaming and he's Monster. Like, could be, but I don't know. Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's urgent?
I don't think it's good. Urgent is next.
Do you not? No, you don't think it's good that he's listening to In Flames? Do you think that's a little heavy? Do you think it's too heavy?
He's 5.
Yeah.
How is he not having nightmares?
Well, here he does, because I showed him the beginning of Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
And
he has nightmares because he's listening to Bloody In Flames, and he's 5, dude. That's where the nightmares are coming from.
I don't think so. I think he loves it. He's like, I need something heavy. He's asking for it.
He's traumatized. It's like Stockholm Syndrome.
Yikes. All right. Well, I'm his father, so.
Holly and Ron, what do you think? Chime in the comments. Anyway, Urgent. Side 2.
Urgent.
Yes. Love. You don't love?
Nah.
Really? Explain yourself, young man.
80s, like the sax is really good, but
so
like,
great.
but like that's about it. I'm not a big fan of
Junior
anything
Walker.
else around this.
Old
Junior
Motown
Walker,
guy. 60s Motown player, so hot.
That's why he's great.
Oh, this is the first take, by the way. What you hear is the first take. That's one take. I think they played like 10 or 12, but they use the first one. And it's cool too, because, we were talking about this, about the sanitized nature of this record and the keys, and it's like very clean, right? And Mutt Lange has a tendency to do that. But he used this take on purpose because there's a couple of rough spots on it, but they didn't clean it up. It's just gritty.
Love it.
And it adds a nice edge to the song.
Sounds fantastic. The only good part of the song. Sorry.
I love it. This is great. This is the highlight of the record for me. I love it. Oh yeah. Yeah.
No kidding.
It's funky.
I guess so. It's just too much. It's too much. Like, it's just like.
You know where that comes from?
What are you doing?
Thomas Dolby.
Oh yeah.
Thomas Dolby. Mutt Lange was a big fan of Dolby's because he was kind of like this underground guy, right? Unknown, but Lange knew who he was. And Dolby had this song on a tape, a demo called Urges. And so it went urges, urges, urges. And so when they finally figured out the song, actually going back, Mick Jones played Mutt Lange a tape. Mutt Lange said to him, he said, okay, listen, play me everything you have on tape, no matter how bad. I want to hear all of it. And we're going to take whatever, I like, and blah, blah, blah. So he played the beginning of Urgent. Do, 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 do. And he said, this is like an instrumental experimentation, Mick said to Mutt Lange. And Mutt Lange said, not anymore. We're going to use this because this is actually really cool. And so he combined that with this Urges thing that Thomas Dolby had. And he kept playing these weird notes, right? Do, do, do. And it was like a mashup of these two songs. And they called it Urgent, not Urges. And Thomas Dolby didn't know until later. And he said, are you cool with this, Thomas Dolby? Mutt Lange did. And he said, yeah, happy to contribute. I don't know if he probably got a songwriting credit for it, but yeah. So there's a whole history behind this song of how it came together. And Junior Walker played the sax solo. It's amazing.
Yeah. And they walked down the street to get Junior Walker. He was playing at some kind of some bar down the street from Electric Lady. Mm-hmm. Saw him play, said, hey, why don't you come down to the studio and lay down the sax. City.
Yeah. Did a bunch of takes. They used the first one. That's so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other point to that about Dolby and his playing, I don't know what he had, but I guess at the time too, like what they would record with, at least those keys or whatever he was using, could only record one note at a time. Yes. You couldn't even play chords. You had to record note on top of note on top of note.
That's right.
To build chords.
I think he
used a process.
Oh, it's ridiculous. That's what I was saying before. He used 6 tracks and then he bounced them all down to 2, and he just played notes on different ones, which is cool because, Waiting for a Girl Like You came out of that, but at the same time, It was very laborious. He used what's called the mini Moog, or Moog. Okay. I guess it's pronounced. Just the keyboards that were available at the time.
Moog?
Moog, M-O-O-G.
Oh, I've been calling it Moog for...
Maybe it is Moog. I don't
25
know.
years. Well, I've never been told otherwise, though.
But I feel like it's Moog. Anyway, it was called the mini Moog or Moog.
Moog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Too bad, Alex. Go back and listen to that song.
No.
I bet you'll like it more. No.
Yeah.
No.
I like the sax solo. That's it, man. That's it.
I kind of feel like the song would be cool even if the sax solo wasn't in it. I love that sax solo, but
yeah,
I think it's still cool.
No, it wouldn't. And I'm Gonna Win follows right after it. I haven't said this in a long time. Skip. Like, just get out of here. What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to score the next Rocky album or something? It was Karate Kid 2.
I was just thinking Rocky in my head. That is so funny. Yeah, it's like running up the stairs in Philadelphia.
Like it's trying too hard for an anthem to win. I don't know.
Like I said, the pyromania thing is there in the breakdown. You hear the breakdown of the song. It's like this kind of ascending. It builds tension. Sneaky good song for me. I don't mind it. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
But we can skip. What's
Skipper.
next?
Well, you got any interesting factoids about I'm Gonna Win? Just
no. I don't know. It's clearly like just a filler.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's the number 9.
Weird
I
filler.
think.
Just leave it off. Why'd you need it? Why did you need it? Right? Like they were clearly trying to get something out of this song.
It would be interesting to see if they had anything left over from this record. I don't think they did, but because there's 10 tunes on this, right? I wonder if there are any like bonus tracks that they just said, no, this isn't worthy of being on the record. And if we listened to them on the show and said, yes, they're better than I'm Gonna Win, that would be an interesting little experiment.
Yeah. Well, I listened to the expanded version. I didn't listen to like a deluxe version or anything, but there's no bonus like extra tracks aside from like an acoustic version of Jukebox Hero and I think another version of Waiting for a Girl Like You, but nothing.
Probably not though.
Nothing new. Woman in Black.
Good song.
Woman in Black. Yeah. It's an interesting way that they start this song. It's like the way that Break It Up starts. It's kind of like they kind of have this where they start different from where the song ends up going. I mean, it kind of comes back a little bit, but they do kind of change it up almost into a completely different song by the time you get to the verse.
Well, that's what I mean though. Like there's pieces, right? So like I said, here's these pieces of things, and it's almost like Lego. He puts them together, and tries to get the best of all worlds.
It's kind of weird. Like, what did he say? Like you walked in, it's like had a burning sensation when you walked in the room or something like that. I'm like,
the lyrics are
burning
like,
sensations. Like,
the lyrics are so bad.
Yeah, they are.
I will say
they're really bad. But Girl on the Moon, that's a trip.
You like it?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that guitar line. I'm a fan of whatever's like effect is going on it, and cool tune.
See, in Woman in Black, there's a lot of fun guitar stuff going on. There's a lot of cool lines. So I thought you'd like that one a little bit more. But I do agree that Girl on the Moon is it's haunting. There's something kind of ethereal about this song, right?
Yep.
And it's interesting in that way. It's compelling. It grabs you in the sense that it's kind of distant. I like that.
I love it. That's what I love about it. It's intriguing. It's good.
Yeah.
Good tune. Yeah.
Good. So not a true number 9. I think I'm going to win this number 9. That's the
100% it's a number 9.
Okay.
100%. That or Urgent. Throw it at number 9.
No.
You're breaking your heart with that one.
Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue 10 times.
No, I will not. I won't.
You should.
I willn't.
You need to.
No, thank you. You know what? Girl on the Moon and Don't Let Go perfectly wrap this up. Big fan of Don't Let Go.
Oh, you are?
It actually doesn't feel like too much like a
cliche.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. But like, again, the chorus, man. Actually, all the choruses, they're all catchy. But like this one's just really, really good too.
You know what puts the song over the top? The backing vocals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's all Mutt Lange. When you hear that, it sounds a little bit kind of unique because it's very falsetto. It's very high, right? And whoever wrote that line, there's 4 notes in it. So like you hear, don't let go. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 5.
Try it.
It's so high. You try it, actually. You're the singer of our little show here.
You're the singer of the duo, Alex.
You are. Do it. You know how it goes.
Don't let our love. Yeah, is it?
Oh, one more note. Yes,
I can't remember the last part. Don't judge me. I'm trying.
My window just broke.
Stop it. You got headphones on. Get out of here. Don't tell me to try it. Make fun of me. Hurt my feelings.
It was good, actually. You're on pitch there.
Not bad. Not bad.
But you know what I mean? Like, all joking aside, so that vocal melody is just, it lifts the song up. It makes it so good. And again, that earworm and that catchy hook, right? Because you hear the chorus and it's like, okay. And we talked before about like how, like, you know, it's schlocky and kind of cliche. But man, that backing vocal hook, irresistible.
Yeah, totally. It actually reminds me of even like the last song on Triumph's Allied Forces, Say Goodbye. You know, Say Goodbye, killer finishing tune. Yeah. Earworm. And it's good.
Yeah. So there you go, man. The Foreigner 4. Are you glad?
Foreigner 4. Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. Like, yeah. I guess it's an important album. Glad I listened to it. I might go back to a couple tunes. Maybe I might have to play Luann a bunch just so Hendrix can be like, Luann? Are they saying Luann? You know?
That's so funny.
But yeah, it's like it's probably like a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Not good enough. It's not bad enough for a 3, just not good enough for a 4.
That's harsh. Yeah? Harsh. All right.
What should I do? Should I go back and listen to Old Foreigner? Would you think I'd like Old Foreigner better?
Don't do anything.
No.
Don't do anything at all.
Don't do anything. Just leave it. Just leave it Foreigner. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll move forward.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. I'm into that.
All right.
So
at some point we're going to do some Pink Floyd. But I think that next we should do something by a little band from the state of Tejas, Texas.
Okay.
ZZ Top. Let's do Tres Hombres.
I thought it was ZZ Top. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
ZZ Top, sick. What do I know from I know Legs.
Way later.
Tres Hombres way later than Legs?
No, Legs way later. That was on Eliminator.
Oh, that was way later. I was going to... Okay. Tres Hombres.
That was like 83.
LaGrange?
That's on that record, I believe. Yeah.
Guess where I heard LaGrange?
If you say Guitar Hero or whatever it is, are you gonna say that?
Guitar Hero. Yeah, it was a ton of fun to play.
You're a dark
I love
guy.
playing
Like, you're a
LaGrange.
full ding dong.
You know, 4 buttons, right? But I tell you, man, when that guitar, right, that was like you would have star power, and you would tilt the guitar right when you got the star power, and then you would double your points because you had star power going. Oh yeah, it's like, see, I know that song so well, and that's on this album.
Remember what I said about the decline of Western civilization at the top of the show?
Do not include me in that, okay? Because I was the one cheering for Rush, okay? Do not. What's so bad about me playing an electronic guitar to a classic songs and learning about them? Huh? What's so bad about that? Huh?
What do you tilt the guitar and get star power? Like,
well, when you hit a row of star notes, right, and when you hit all of them, it builds your star meter, and then when your star meter's full, you tilt the guitar, because that's what rock stars do. They tilt the guitar, right? And then star power comes in, and then your points double from there on out. And then once your star meter runs out, you gotta get them again.
Do you think Billy Gibbons tilted his guitar for star power?
No, actually, I think he spun it around his waist to get star power. That's what I think Billy Gibbons did.
He didn't. Oh, he did that later.
Okay, well, I think eventually. Yeah, see? Okay, so yes, I do.
Star power.
I'm trying to get this. Try and get.
Oh my god.
You're just upset you never played Guitar Hero or Rock Band. All right.
Guitar schmuck.
All right, man. I'm gonna some light reading to go do.
There you go.
All right.
Keep that right there.
Yeah. While I listen to some Tres Hombres. Great, man.
All right, hombre.
Hombre.
Go do your homework.
Dos. We are dos hombres.
You're a ding dong.
Ding dong dos. Hombre. Gosh. All right. Good night.